Tired of waking up stuck in the same rut, knowing you're wasting your potential? In this audiobook, you'll get the exact blueprint to force unbreakable discipline and transform your life, starting today. Welcome to Audiobook Journey, where we deliver self-improvement masterclasses as full audiobooks. Discover how to weaponize self-disgust for instant motivation, hack habits that stick forever, and turn failure into your ultimate superpower across 12 game-changing chapters. Hit subscribe for weekly life hack audiobooks and use chapter timestamps below to jump in now. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast, shadowed canyon. The wind whips around you, carrying whispers of regret from the depths below. Missed chances, half-hearted dreams, days blurred into years. Your heart pounds. This is your life right now, teetering on the brink. But what if I told you that with one deliberate step, you could ignite a fire that lights the entire path ahead? Not some gentle glow, but a roaring blaze that forces change, reshapes your world, and pulls you toward the life you were meant to live. This isn't a fairy tale. This is your wake-up call. Lean in, because by the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to force yourself. Yes, force to rise, transform, and claim the extraordinary. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The brutal truth of your stagnation. Imagine this. You're standing alone in the dead of night, on the cracked edge of an endless abyss. Below you, shadows twist like forgotten promises, swallowing the echoes of what could have been, careers abandoned, loves half pursued, bodies neglected until they betray you with every labored breath. The air is thick, heavy with the weight of years, slipping away unnoticed. Your hands tremble on the railing that's no longer there. This isn't some distant nightmare. This is your life, right now, frozen in the quiet terror of stagnation. Feel it rising in your chest, that sharp pang of recognition. You've known it was coming, and today we face it together, because the truth, the brutal, unyielding truth, is your first key to breaking free. Stagnation isn't a gentle drift. It's a slow drowning in the river of your own excuses. Picture a mighty river, once wild and carving canyons through stone, now choked with silt and debris. That's your potential, buried under layers of later tomorrow. And I'm too tired. You wake each morning to the same four walls, the same scrolling feed of strangers chasing sunsets while you chase sleep. The coffee tastes bitter, not from the brew, but from the resentment bubbling beneath. Why them and not you? Because you've surrendered, inch by invisible inch. You've let comfort wrap around you like a shroud, convincing yourself that neutrality is safety. But neutrality is death by degrees. It's the job you tolerate, the relationships you endure, the dreams you shelve in the attic of your mind, gathering dust. Let me take you into the life of Marcus, a man I once knew, or perhaps it's you, staring back from the mirror. Marcus was 42, solid build gone soft, eyes dulled by a decade in middle management. He drove the same route to work every day, radio-tuned talk shows dissecting other people's triumphs. Evenings blurred into Netflix marathons, each episode a brick in the wall between him and the man he swore he'd become. One rainy Tuesday, he found an old journal from his 20s, pages alive with sketches of adventures, businesses he planned to launch, mountains he vowed to conquer. He slammed it shut, heart-hammering. That night, sleep evaded him. He lay there listening to the storm rage outside, mirroring the one building within. Marcus realized stagnation wasn't fate, it was a choice, repeated daily like a ritual of self-betrayal. Now, hear me clearly, this truth hurts because it must. It's the scalpel slicing through delusion. You've built a fortress of rationalizations. I'm busy, life's not fair, I'll start Monday. But deep down, you know that knot in your stomach when you avoid the scale, the mirror, the blank page. It's your soul screaming for air, Stagnation thrives in the dark, fed by denial. It whispers that small steps are enough, that consistency is optional. Lies, all lies, the foundation of every transformed life, begins here in this raw confrontation. You can't force improvement without first naming the enemy. And the enemy is you, the version content with mediocrity, trading infinity for the illusion of ease. Think of the athlete who plateaus, muscles screaming for more but mind pulling back, or the artist whose brushes gather cobwebs while envy paints her dreams in others' colors. These aren't anomalies, they're the human default. Evolution wired us for survival, not excellence. Our ancestors huddled in caves, content with fire's warmth, never dreaming of skyscrapers or symphonies. But you carry that same ancient wiring into a world demanding more. Stagnation is the cave calling you home, cozy and safe, while the stars wait beyond. Feel the pull. That's the battle. Winning it starts with admission. I am stuck, and I choose to move. So, here's your first act of force, your declaration of war. Tonight, when the world quiets, sit in silence. No screens, no distractions. Pull out a single sheet of paper, or open the notes on your phone if you must. Title it, The Rot Within. Now, list them. Every corner of your life festering in neutrality. Career, am I climbing or just clocking in? Relationships, am I connecting deeply or coasting on autopilot? Health, is my body a temple or a storage unit? Finances, building wealth or bleeding it dry? Dreams, pursued with fire or postponed indefinitely? Be merciless, no vague entries like kind or okay. Write the ugly truth, dreading every sales meeting. Avoiding intimacy with my partner. 20 pounds overweight and climbing. Let the words burn as you write them. Feel the shame, the anger. Good, that's the alchemy beginning. Pain transmuting into power. This list isn't for judgment, it's your map. Each item a landmark of where you've allowed surrender. Marcus did this at 3 a.m. Tears smudging the ink. By dawn, something shifted. The abyss didn't seem so vast anymore. It had edges, climbable ones. He saw his list not as failure, but as fuel. A bonfire waiting for the match. Yours will be the same, because owning the rot is the death of the old you. From its ashes rises awareness, sharp and alive. You're no longer blind, you're armed with sight. Reflect on this. Every empire begins with ruins surveyed. Rome wasn't wished into being. Its founders cleared marshes and felled forests. Your life demands the same. Stagnation's grip loosens only when you shine light on it, naming it, measuring it, refusing to let it define you. This chapter isn't the end, it's the awakening. You've felt the canyon's wind, heard the whispers of regret. You've faced the mirror of truth. And in doing so, you've taken the first deliberate step toward forcing change, not as a vague hope, but as an unbreakable commitment. But truth alone is a spark. It needs kindling to blaze. What happens when you turn that spark into a raging fire, using the raw edge of self-disgust to propel you forward? That's the force waiting in the next chapter. Lean in. Your transformation deepens now. Chapter 2. The Power of Radical Self-Disgust. Picture yourself in a dimly lit room, the clock ticking like a heartbeat in the silence. You stand before a full-length mirror, clothes stripped away, not just fabric but pretense. The reflection stares back, shoulders slumped under invisible weight, eyes hollowed by years of quiet compromise. A wave crashes inside you, not sorrow, but a visceral, churning disgust. It's sharp as shattered glass, cutting through the numbness. This isn't loathing, it's lightning in your veins, raw and electric. You've ignored it too long, buried it under smiles and shrugs, but tonight it rises, fierce and uninvited. Welcome to the power of radical self-disgust, the emotion that doesn't coddle but catapults you from the mud. Self-disgust is no enemy, it's your fiercest ally, the forge where weakness melts into resolve. Imagine it as a wild stallion, bucking against the reins of complacency. Society preaches self-love, gentle affirmations whispered like lullabies, but love without teeth is useless. Disgust wakes you with a slap, revealing the chasm between the life you inhabit and the one pulsing in your dreams. It's the gut punch when you scroll past another's triumph, knowing you could have been there, or the bile rising after another evening lost to the couch, body sagging while your spirit claws for flight. This isn't toxic shame, it's holy fire. It demands you see the truth. You're capable of mountains, yet lounging in valleys. Harness it, and it becomes the force that shatters chains. Let me draw you into Elena's story, a woman whose transformation etched itself into my memory. At 38, she was a ghost in her own life, mother of two, trapped in a cubicle that smelled of stale ambition. Her closet overflowed with someday clothes, tags intact, while her waistline whispered defeat. One evening, after the kids slept, she stood naked before her mirror, forcing herself to look, not glance, stare. The disgust hit like a freight train, revulsion at the softness, where strength should be, the lines of laziness etched into her skin. She didn't cry, she roared, a primal sound echoing off the walls. That night she tore through her kitchen, hurling junk food into the trash, vowing this emotion as her sentinel. Every skipped workout, every lazy bite, she'd summon it back. The mirror ritual, the unflinching gaze. Within months, Elena ran her first 10K, lean and alive, her body reborn. Disgust wasn't her destroyer, it was her sculptor. Feel the depth of this. Disgust thrives on contrast. It's born from glimpsing your higher self, then measuring the distance to your current shore. Like a painter beholding a blank canvas stained with spills, yearning for the masterpiece within. We've all tasted it. The athlete eyeing rivals' medals, the writer amid stacks of unread journals, the entrepreneur watching competitors scale peaks you mapped but never climbed. Evolution gifted us this response for survival. Recoil from poison, flee decay. Now repurpose it for growth. When disgust surges, don't numb it with distractions. Amplify it. Speak it aloud. This version of me disgusts the giant I'm meant to be. Let the words vibrate in your chest, turning revulsion to rocket fuel. Here's the sacred practice. Make disgust your daily drill sergeant. Begin each morning with the mirror confrontation. Stand tall, eyes locked, and interrogate. Body, why do you betray me with fatigue when fire waits to burn? Mind, why do you wonder when focus could conquer worlds? List the gaps the promotion dodged, the book unwritten, the love unclaimed. Feel the twist, the nausea of unrealized power. Then channel it. 5 push-ups for every pound of regret. A cold shower to shock the haze away. Disgust demands action, immediate and unforgiving. It's not about perfection, it's about motion. Elena journaled hers nightly, pages filled with fury that fueled dawn runs. Yours will too. This ritual rewires your nervous system, making comfort the true poison. Ponder the wisdom hidden here. Most chase motivation like a fleeting lover, but disgust is loyal, arriving unbidden whenever you falter. It's spiritual alchemy, transmuting base metal of self-betrayal into gold of discipline. Religions speak of righteous anger. This is its personal echo, purging the temple of your soul. Without it, improvement remains a whisper. With it, you're unstoppable. Recall the warriors of old, who before battle smeared ashes on their faces, invoking disgust at defeat to summon savagery. You fight your inner wars the same way. Embrace this power, and stagnation's grip crumbles. But raw emotion needs structure to endure. It must be channeled through deliberate barriers that pain enforces without mercy. What if you built a fortress of non-negotiable thresholds, where every step forward demands sacrifice? That's the unbreakable architecture awaiting you in Your fire kindles brighter. Step forward. Chapter 3. Designing your non-negotiable pain threshold. Envision a blacksmith's forge at midnight. Flames leaping high, heat searing the air, until sweat streams like rivers down your skin. An anvil gleams under the hammer's relentless strike, each blow forging raw iron into an unbreakable blade. Sparks fly, pain pulses through calloused hands, but the craftsman doesn't flinch. He leans in, because he knows without deliberate agony, no edge is honed. This is you now, at the threshold of your own forge. Improvement isn't wished for, it's hammered out. You've felt the spark of truth, the fire of disgust. Now, we build the structure that makes pain your architect, not your assassin. Step into the heat. Your blade awaits shaping. Pain is the great equalizer, the invisible hand that separates dreamers from doers. We flee it instinctively, scrolling past discomfort, numbing with endless streams of ease. But here's the revelation. Voluntary pain, architected with precision, becomes your unbreakable enforcer. Non-negotiable thresholds aren't punishments. They're sacred contracts with your future self. They declare war on weakness by making retreat impossible. Think of them as moats around your castle of progress. Cross them daily, or drown in the waters of regret. This isn't masochism, it's mastery. You design the barriers so high, so unyielding, that comfort crumbles under their weight. Pain, once feared, now commands loyalty. Meet Javier, our architect turned prisoner of his own blueprint. At 45, bankruptcy had stripped him bare, home gone, savings evaporated, pride in tatters. He wandered his sparse apartment, staring at a single photo, his family's last vacation, smiles frozen before the fall. Rage boiled, but action eluded. Then came the threshold. He taped that photo to his desk with a rule etched in red ink. No food until 20 sales calls completed. Jaw clawed by noon, stomach twisting like a vice, vision blurring. Calls connected, rejections stung sharper than starvation. By evening, 3 leads secured, belly finally fed. Day after day the threshold held. 6 months later, Javier rebuilt his firm, stronger, his body lean from enforced grit. Pain wasn't endured, it was engineered into his salvation. Grasp this deeply. Thresholds work because they hijack your biology. Your brain craves certainty, recoiling from chaos. By gating essentials, food, rest, pleasure, behind progress, you create a neural prison break. No meal without movement, no sleep until study, no screen until sweat. It's psychological judo. Use your own hungers against inertia. Javier's genius lay in specificity. Vague goals dissolve, precise pains endure. Audit your kryptonite for some, its sugar's siren call for others, the bed's warm embrace, or the phone's infinite scroll. Identify yours, then bolt the gate. Morning ritual. Write 3 thresholds on your mirror in washable ink. No coffee till journaled, no shower till stretched, no exit till pitched. Stare them down each dawn. They stare back, daring surrender. Let this wisdom seep in. Pain thresholds. Cultivate anti-fragility, growing stronger from stress. Like muscles torn in the gym, only to rebuild denser, your will thickens under duress. Cultures have long known this. Monks fasting for clarity, warriors training through exhaustion. Modern life softened us, but you reclaim the ancient right. Experiment boldly. Week 1, mild bites like stairs over elevators. Escalate 48-hour fasts tied to milestones. Sleep cycles slashed until quotas met. Track the alchemy in a ledger. Pain endured, gains harvested. Javier photographed his shrinking frame weekly. Thresholds evolving, no business attire until revenue doubled. Yours personalize, tie financial bites to billable hours, relational voids to vulnerable shares. The key, non-negotiable, means absolute. Bend once, the fortress falls. Reflect on the spiritual undercurrent. This is soul sculpting. Pain strips illusions, revealing your core unyielding. In silence between hammer strikes, clarity emerges. What truly matters, what you fight for. Cells, ease is enlightenment. True awakening demands the forge. You've likely tasted uncontrolled pain, loss, failure, but harnessed, it becomes holy ground. Javier wept on night 3, hunger merging with grief, birthing resolve. Your tears will water the same soil. This chapter arms you, truth named, disgust ignited, now pain structured. You're no longer adrift, you're the architect. Yet thresholds demand automation to outlast willpower's flicker. What if you rigged your world like a master thief, booby-trapping temptations and paving paths to victory? That's the ruthless art habit hacking in Chapter 4. The forge glows hotter. Forge on. Chapter 4. The art of ruthless habit hacking. Dawn breaks over a cluttered battlefield. Your living room a war zone of half-empty chip bags, charging cords, snaking like traps, and a remote control mocking you from the coffee table. You reach for it instinctively, but pause, because you've rigged the terrain. The TV remote, locked in a drawer requiring 50 squats to access. Your phone, buried in the freezer behind frozen spinach. Running shoes, placed dead center on your bed. Impossible to ignore. This isn't chaos, it's calculated sabotage. You've turned your environment into an enemy of inertia, a relentless machine forcing victory. No more wishing for discipline, you've hacked the system. Welcome to the art of ruthless habit engineering, the invisible force that makes change unavoidable. Habits aren't fragile threads spun by willpower. They're iron rails, laid across your brain's landscape, guiding you effortlessly toward peaks or pits. Force them ruthlessly by redesigning your world like a cunning general preparing for siege. Remove every temptation with surgical precision. Don't relocate junk food, incinerate it. Don't limit social media, delete the apps entirely, forcing a labyrinthine reinstall process. Rearrange spaces for frictionless triumphs. Place your workout clothes on the bathroom floor, journal by the coffee maker, guitar leaning against the door. This is environmental judo. Use your surroundings' momentum against your worst impulses. Comfortable inertia dies when the path of least resistance leads straight to growth. Enter the tale of Lena, a graphic designer drowning in digital quicksand. 32, talented but tethered to her couch. Deadlines slipping like sand through fingers. Her apartment breathed distraction. Pizza boxes stacked like trophies. Notifications chiming symphonies of procrastination. One midnight epiphany. She declared war. She smashed her TV remote with a hammer, sparks flying, freedom ringing, apps vanished into oblivion. Her laptop's browser locked behind a 20-minute timer. Grocery runs banned processed poisons. Her fridge became a fortress of greens and lean protein. Running shoes migrated to the front door, tripping her every exit. Cravings hit, the spinach-blocked phone forced to walk instead. Within weeks, Lena's portfolio exploded with commissions, her body carved from neglect into vitality. She hadn't willed better habits. She'd booby-trapped her life to demand them. Understand the profound mechanics. Your brain conserves energy, defaulting to familiar grooves. Hacking interrupts those circuits, carving new superhighways. Stack habits like building blocks. Pair unbreakable anchors with desired actions. Coffee demands journaling first. Brushing teeth triggers 20 squats. Morning shower ends with cold blast. Gratitude. These micro-chains compound, momentum snowballing. Track them in a visual war map. A calendar wall exploding in red X's for strikes unbroken. Penalty for breaks, ruthless. $50 donated to a political foe, or public confession on social media. Lena's streak board grew monstrous. Missing meant scrubbing her kitchen floor with a toothbrush. Shame's sting, a masterful motivator. Automate until autopilot serves your empire. Delve deeper into the ritual. Conduct a Friday night purge. Sweep through your domain like a storm, toss, shred, relocate. Bedroom. No screens past sunset. Reading lamp primed. Kitchen. Knives sharpened for meal prep. Blender front and center. Workspace. Temptations exiled to another room. Only tools of creation remain. Personalize the hacks. Night owls block bedroom light. Early risers cue sunrise alarms with stretching mandates. Spiritually, this is temple purification, external order mirroring inner renaissance. Lena wept amid the wreckage of her old life, ashes of distractions in the trash. From chaos rose clarity, habits blooming like desert flowers after rain. Contemplate the timeless truth, ancient monasteries hacked, isolation for sanctity. No worldly lures within walls, samurai sharpened katanas daily, environments demanding mastery. You inherit this legacy. Modernizing it against algorithmic seductions, results compound exponentially. First week grinds, month 1 flows, year 1. You're a different species. Lena launched her studio, habits her silent partners. Yours await activation, truth confronted. Disgust fueled, pain threshold built. Now habits armored, you're forging an unstoppable machine. But even iron bends without a commanding voice inside. What if you trained your inner dialogue into a relentless general, issuing orders no weakness dares defy? Chapter 5 unlocks that vocal arsenal. The battle intensifies. Advance. Chapter 5, mastering the voice that commands you. Thunder rolls through the cavern of your mind, echoing off jagged walls of doubt and hesitation. A single voice rises above the storm, deep, unyielding, laced with the gravel of 1,000 battles won. Stand, it commands. Move. Now, your body obeys before thought can interfere. Muscles igniting like fuses in the dark. This isn't imagination, it's the birth of your inner commander, forged from the whispers of weakness into a roar that bends reality. You've rigged the world outside, now conquer the battlefield within. That chattering critic. Silence it no longer. Train it into the general who salutes only victory. Listen close. Your orders begin. The voice inside isn't a gentle guide. It's a sovereign issuing decrees, the architect of your empire or the saboteur of your throne. Most let it meander, whining, I can't, murmuring, maybe tomorrow, diluting resolve into vapor. But mastery flips the script. You sculpt it into a relentless enforcer. Barking precision strikes against inertia. This inner dialogue shapes neural pathways, like rivers carving stone, directing every choice, every breath. Weaponize it, and hesitation evaporates. Speak as the king you are. Declarative, vivid, visceral. I crush this workout. I claim this opportunity. No questions, no qualifiers, just iron commands echoing through your core. This is psychological sovereignty, where your word becomes law. Step into Raj's forge of transformation, a software engineer adrift in code's endless sea. 41. Brilliant but buried under backlog excuses, his inner voice a sniveling accomplice. You're tired. One more episode. Promotions passed him by, belly growing as ambition shrank. Then, the reckoning. He grabbed his phone, voice memo app open, and poured out every evasion. Too busy for the gym. Not smart enough for that project. Playback hit like acid, his own whiny tone mocking him. Laughter cracked through disgust. He rewrote the script in a thunderous baritone. Weakness ends. Warrior rises. He recorded it looping, blasting during commutes, workouts, midnight doubts. That voice infiltrated dreams, waking him at dawn with orders. 6 months promotion seized, physique chiseled, side hustle launched. His critic, conscripted into command, grasped the sacred mechanics. Self-talk rewires the amygdala, taming fear's wild beast. Positive fluff fades, commanding rhetoric endures because it mimics leaders who've led nations. Daily drill, morning muster. Stand before your mirror, chest out, eyes locked, and issue 10 edicts. Today I devour obstacles. Rejection fuels my ascent. Feel the vibration in your throat, the shift in posture. Doubt invades midday. Counter-strike with evidence arsenal, recall past conquests. Remember the deadline crushed, that was me. Act now, record defeats too, but autopsy them militarily. Flank failed here, adjust and advance. Raj pinned audio badges on his fridge. Wins in bold, slips dissected. Your voice evolves from accuser to admiral. Delve into the ritual's depth. Infuse commands with sensory fire. Don't say, exercise. Declare, I surge through sprints, lungs burning triumph. Visualization amplifies. Close eyes, see the command manifest. Pen flying across pages, barbell rising victorious. Spiritually, this is invocation, summoning your higher essence through spoken word. Ancient shamans chanted to shift realms. You chant to shift self. Evening debrief. Replay the day's dialogue. Harsh judge? Good. It sharpens the blade. Raj role-played rejections nightly, commanding responses till armor gleamed. Yours builds the same. Tie voice to thresholds. No water till affirmations roared. Consistency cements. Soon the commander speaks unbidden. Autopilot to excellence. Ponder the profound ripple. Societies rise on rhetoric that rallies. Your personal nation thrives the same. Neglected voices breed anarchy. Mastered ones, dynasty. Truth-faced, disgust, harnessed. Pain structured, habits rigged. Now, voice, sovereign. You're assembling a legion within. Raj stood taller, spoke bolder in meetings. Life mirroring his script. Yours will echo eternally. Yet solitary decrees amplify under watchful eyes. What if you leveraged the world's gaze as unbreakable steel cables binding promises to performance? Chapter 6 reveals public accountability's lever. Your command echoes outward. March on. Chapter 6. The force of public accountability. Levers, spotlights, pierce the fog of a crowded arena. Thousands of eyes locked on you mid-stage, heart thundering as your promise hangs in the balance. Sweat beads on your brow, not from heat, but the raw terror of exposure. One slip, and the world witnesses your fracture. Yet in that vise of judgment, something unbreakable ignites. Motion becomes mandatory. Excuses evaporate under collective scrutiny. This isn't performance, it's alchemy. You've chained your fate to the crowd's gaze, turning potential shame into your most potent propellant. Solitude breeds whispers of defeat. Publicity forges them into war cries. Step into the light. Your levers engage now. Public accountability isn't social pressure. Its engineered leverage, steel cables yanking you across chasms of doubt. Private vows dissolve like mist. Broadcast them, and they solidify into contracts etched in consequence. The psychology pierces deep. Humans dread social demotion more than physical pain, wired by tribal survival to honor communal word. Announce boldly, post your transformation pledge online, declare to mentors, enlist skeptics as witnesses. Fear of their disappointment, harness it as rocket thrust. Select accomplices wisely, no enablers, only truth-tellers who demand proof. Weekly audits, visible progress logs, penalties carved in stone. This force multiplies inner commands, making retreat public suicide. Witness Mira's Odyssey. A teacher shackled by 30 extra pounds and a stalled career. 39 vibrant spirit dimmed by classroom comforts and evening indulgences. She confided dreams of marathons and authorship to empty journals. Then, desperation birthed audacity. Live video on social media vowing £50 shed in a year. First novel drafted, "Watch me or watch me fail," she declared to 500 followers. Stakes escalated. Daily weigh-ins streamed, chapters shared raw, missed workouts triggering silly dances in public parks. Humiliation loomed like a guillotine. Viewers cheered, questioned, propelled, months blurred, scales tipped, pages piled, finish line crossed. Mira's teaching ignited too. Students inspired by her arena grit. Accountability didn't just bind, it transfigured. Absorb the ritual's essence. Launch your inner tonight. Craft a declaration vivid and verifiable. By June, I'll run 26.2 miles, posting weekly splits. Platforms amplify, Instagram stories for visuals, group chats for interrogations, apps linking coaches via GPS. Penalties bite, falter, and fund rivals' causes. Wear embarrassing shirts to work. Host free workshops on your lessons in failure. Mira's was viral vulnerability dance penalties racked 1 million views. Fueling donations to fitness charities, tie to tribe. Recruit 3 enforcers, schedule Sunday spotlights. Spiritually, this mirrors ancient oaths sworn before elders, souls pledged under witness oaks. Your modern circle becomes sacred counsel, gaze purifying intent. Explore the layers, visibility accelerates neuroplasticity, habits hardening under observation. Data whispers ancient secrets. Spartans shamed cowards publicly, birthing legends. You reclaim that edge against digital isolation. Escalate creatively. Bet wagers on outcomes, partner swaps for high-stakes duels. Mira challenged colleagues to matching goals. School-wide races born. Personalize introverts, email chains, extroverts, live streams. Track leverage logs, exposure endured, momentum gained, inner voice aligns, thresholds tighten, habits locked, truth admitted, disgust channeled, pain gated, world rigged, commander risen, now publicly leveraged. You're not alone. The arena cheers your ascent. Contemplate the ripple. Empires rose on public pacts. From pharaohs' monuments to revolutionaries' manifestos, your life dynasty demands the same proclamation. Mira now coaches arenas worldwide, her lever's legacy. Yours extends infinitely. But chains tighten further when you wield the blade of sacrifice, severing what anchors you to the shallows. Chapter 7 unveils the liberating cut. The arena fades, the wilderness calls. Press on. Chapter 7 embracing the sacrifice of what holds you back. A lone samurai kneels in moonlit mist, katana drawn across his lap, blade whispering against whetstone. Shadows of cherry blossoms drift like ghosts, but his gaze fixes on the garden beyond. Overgrown vines choking ancient oaks, thorns snaring birds mid-flight. With a breath that steadies the world, he rises, shears flashing in silver arcs. Limbs tumble, earth drinks the sap. The tree stands taller, roots drinking deeper. No regret shadows his face, only fierce clarity. This is sacrifice's poetry, cutting what binds to liberate what soars. You've leveraged the world's eyes, now wield the blade inward. Sever the anchors, your wilderness beckons. Sacrifice isn't loss, it's holy excision, pruning the soul's wild garden for bloom. Growth starves in fertile soil, choked by weeds, toxic ties, soul-sapping roles, possessions whispering, stay small. We cling, mistaking comfort for roots, familiarity for fate, but true ascent demands bloodletting. Audit ruthlessly, then amputate. Friends who celebrate stagnation fade their calls unanswered, careers devouring spirit. Chart exit vectors now, cluttered shelves of maybe someday, torch them to ash. This isn't cruelty, it's curation, like a river dredging silt to rush freer. Sacrifice carves channels for destiny's flood. Embrace it, and chains transmute to wings. Breathe in Thomas's saga, a corporate navigator wrecked on mediocrity's reef. 47. Mid-level drone in glass towers, evenings dissolving in beer-fueled laments, with barstool philosophers. His marriage frayed, dreams of screenwriting buried under mortgage weight. Spark ignited during a blackout storm. Candlelight revealed shelves groaning with scripts, unfinished. Photos of vibrant youth, mocking present pallor. Dawn brought the blade. He resigned without notice, sold the SUV for cabin funds, severed barfly bonds with unreturned calls. Netflix purged, possessions auctioned, proceeds fueling solitude. First weeks clawed, isolation howled, withdrawal gnawed. But words flowed, pages mounting like mountain snow. Year later, debut film premiered. Thomas, lean and luminous, life reclaimed. Sacrifice hadn't stripped, it sculpted. Seize the ritual's core. Conduct the midnight audit. Dim lights, incense curling if it calls. Ledger open. Categorize anchors. Relational vampires who diminish dreams. Vocational graves where passion suffocates. Material millstones dragging velocity. Score them. Does this feed fire or douse it? High drain, mark for severance. Thomas listed bar tabs, totaling fortunes wasted. Colleagues' envy, as daily poison. Execution phases, soft fade for kin. Scheduled silences growing eternal. Hard cuts for jobs, resignation scripted. Bridges scorched. Possession, garage sale marathons. Digital detoxes deleting terabytes of distraction. Spiritually, this echoes monastic vows, renouncing world for inner kingdom. Pain purifies, voids invite abundance. Unveil the profound physiology. Sacrifice activates dopamine's deeper vein, not cheap thrills, but earned ecstasy of space conquered. Brain scans reveal pruning liberates prefrontal real estate for vision. Ancient mystics fasted flesh for spirit flight. You fast entanglements for soul sprint. Escalate wisely. Week 1, minor shears like unfollowing drains. Month 2, major amputations. Relocation if cities stifle. Sabbaticals from soul theft roles. Thomas bartered cabin silence for script symphonies. Friends winnowed to 3 torches. Track, liberation ledger. Voids filled, freedoms flowered. Truth owned, disgust alchemized, pain forged. Habits hacked, voice commanded, eyes leveraged. Now sacrificed clean. You're streamlined, wind cutting. Meditate on eternity's echo. Phoenixes rise from pyres, not cushions. Legends birthed in deserts of detachment. Thomas mentors now, blade ever sharp. Your cuts cascade, life accelerating unburdened. Yet freedom sparks without ignition. What if daily sparks? Tiny triumphs, stacked like tinder, avalanched into unstoppable blaze. Chapter 8 fans those flames. The wilderness clears. Ignite. Chapter 8. Igniting daily micro-wins for momentum avalanche. Snowflakes whisper onto a mountaintop at first light, each one fragile, melting on contact until thousands layer, compressing into an unstoppable mass. A faint rumble stirs the silence. Then the world shudders as the avalanche roars downward, swallowing valleys, reshaping the earth below. This is your power unveiled. Not thunderous leaps, but daily micro-wins, tiny forces stacking into cataclysmic change. You've cut the anchors, now spark the slide. One bed made with corners sharp as resolve. One cold shower embraced with gritted teeth. Feel the tremor building. These aren't trivial, they're dynamite. Ignite them before breakfast. Your avalanche gathers. Micro-wins are the quantum particles of transformation, invisible but explosive in aggregate. Grand visions crumble under their own weight. Minuscule victories bypass resistance, infiltrating your neurology like stealth operatives. Your brain rewards completion with dopamine pulses. Small hits compound, craving more, forging addiction to progress over procrastination. Force one before your feet fully hit the floor. Bed tucked, military tight, signaling dominion over chaos. Affirmation whispered with eyes fierce. Today bends to my will. These seeds germinate momentum where inertia once reigned. No overwhelm, no excuses, just pure, accumulating force that buries the old self alive. Enter David's Chronicle, a sales rep chained to quotas unmet, and a waistline expanding in defeat. 34. Mornings dissolved in snooze button surrender, desk piled with leads ignored. Epiphany struck during a frozen commute. Giants felled by pebbles, not boulders. Dawn ritual born. Bed perfected in 60 seconds. Igniting chain reaction. 20 push-ups gasping on carpet. Journal capturing yesterday's skirmishes won. Cold water shocking awake before coffee's warmth. First day dragged. Second hum. Push-ups birthed protein shakes. Blended precise. Journal spurred 3 calls before lunch. Momentum snowballed. Noon cold calls tripled output. Evenings gym assaults. Quarter's end. Records shattered. Body sculpted 20 pounds leaner. David's avalanche didn't start with marathons. It avalanched from bed corners. Embrace the blueprint. Curate your cascade deliberately. Pre-dawn, etch 5 micro-wins on a wrist tattoo temporary. Make bed, hydrate fist deep, stretch spine skyward, read page aloud with conviction, a firm mirror gaze. Unbroken. Time each under 5 minutes, stacking sequentially. Bed demands push-ups, water triggers, stretch, visual alter amplifies, a wall chart exploding red to gold streaks, photos of peak selves glaring challenge, penalty sting breaks, streak snaps, reset with doubled load next dawn. David's board towered fridge high, gold paint gleaming, misses meant dawn planks, till collapse. Physiologically, this hack's habit loops cue automatic reward floods, routine etches eternal. Spiritually, micro-wins are mantras incarnate, each act invoking higher rhythm pulsing through veins. Deepen the practice, infuse sensory vividness. Bed-making. Smooth sheets like lover's skin, corners knife-edged. Cold shower, teeth chatter hymns to resilience. Water needles awakening dormant fire. Track cascades in victory vault. Photos snapped post-win. Dopamine archived for drought days. Escalate gradients. Week 1 tame. Month 2 infuse weights. Timers ticking terror. David chained calls to shakes. Dial before sip. Rejection fueling next rep. Communities echo ancient village firesides. Tales swapped of pebbles toppling tyrants. Yours personalizes, creative sketch strokes first, learners conjugate verbs dawn fresh, ledger every cascade, sparks struck, avalanches unleashed, truth excavated, disgust transmuted, pain architected, habits weaponized, voice sovereign, eyes leveraged, sacrifices carved, now micro-wins cascade. You're the mountain mover. Reflect on the cosmic dance. Stars born from dust collisions, galaxies from gravitational nudges. Your empire mirrors, persistence particles prevail. David's firm promoted him, legend cascades his crown. Yours buries limitations forever, but triumph tastes bittersweet without scars examined. What if you courted collapse deliberately, distilling failure's nectar into a sense elixir? Chapter 9 harvests those falls. The avalanche slows, lessons crystallize, descend. Chapter 9, weaponizing failure as your greatest teacher. Flames erupt from a phoenix's pyre, wings charred black, body collapsing into embers that pulse with defiant heat. Ash swirls in updrafts, choking the sky as the bird plummets, dead, or so it seems. Then, a crack splits the silence, molten core surges, feathers reforming sharper, talons steel hard from the burn. This isn't myth, it's your essence revealed. Failure isn't the grave, it's the crucible, where weakness vaporizes, strength crystallizes. You've avalanched momentum now caught. The crash deliberately, seek the fall, embrace the scorch. From its depths rises your invincible form. Dive in, the pyre awaits. Failure, that spectre haunting dreamers' shadows, morphs into jet fuel when wielded with intent. Society brands it scarlet shame, a stop sign etched in defeat. Yet titans thrive devouring it. Force encounters pitch the raw idea, launch the flawed venture, demand the unearned raise. Each rejection, a scalpel dissecting flaws, each flop a forge hammering precision. Not passive endurance but aggressive pursuit. Quota 10 knows weekly, because breakthroughs hide behind barrages. Your brain learns resilience through repetition, fear's grip loosening as evidence mounts, falls finite, rises infinite. Weaponize collapse, let it propel, not paralyze. Journey with Elena, inventor shadowed by silicon dreams. 29. Garage alchemist brewing apps that flickered, then faded. Investors' doors slamming like guillotines. First startup imploded, code crumbled under users, funds evaporated, co-founder fled, nights dissolved in wreckage, empty ramen bowls, laptop screen mocking error logs. Instead of retreat, ritual ignited, she bound failure's autopsy ledger. Server overload, underestimated scale, fix with cloudburst. UI friction users bounced, redesign intuitive flows, every fracture mapped, twice armored. Relaunch, scorched too, but sharper. Third iteration, acquired for 7 figures. Elena millionaire mentor, failure hadn't buried her. She'd mined its veins for gold. Master the right. Post-mortem precision. Crash lands. Pause, breathe fire into belly. Open war journal. Dissect ruthlessly. What assumption shattered? Which preparation lagged? Metrics screaming what? No blame, pure mechanics. Solutions double-barreled. Flaw identified. Countermeasures tripled. Elena photographed wreckage, smashed prototypes pinned as trophies, then rebuilt prototypes thrice resilient. Fail quotas enforce hunts. 5 pitches weekly rejection logs, celebrated with ritual toasts to teachers vanquished. Physiologically, this rewires dopamine. Anticipation shifts from success to learning's rush. Cortisol conquered by curiosity. Spiritually, failures echo alchemical trials, Bass lead transmuting solar gold through fire's kiss. Layer the arsenal. Visualize pre-fall, rehearse pitch stumbles, rejection scowls, code meltdowns, vivid as prophecy. Inoculate fear through immersion. Post-analysis. Immediate action. Floor fixed fuels next assault before scar fades. Elena's vault. Overflowed. 100 failures. Distilled to algorithms powering empire. Escalate hunts. Cold email CEOs. Street pitch strangers. Beta test publicly raw. Track evolution charts. Fall frequency drops. Win ratio soars. Truth confronted. Disgust ignited. Pain threshold crossed. Habits rigged. Voice commanded. Eyes leveraged. Sacrifices carved. Micro wins cascaded. Now failures harvested. You're anti-fragile. Thriving on shocks. Ponder the eternal forge. Edison's 10,000 dims lit one sun. Da Vinci's ruins birthed heavens. Elena teaches garages worldwide. Scars her syllabus. Your pyre fuels dynasties unborn. Yet, ascent plateaus without North Star blazing. What if you excavated purpose's wild hunger, merging soul fire with world's need? Chapter 10. Unearth that flame. Embers glow. The core quickens. Chapter 10. Cultivating the hunger of purpose. Rediscovery. Deep in an ancient forest, a wolf pauses mid-hunt, nostrils flaring as primal scent ignites forgotten fire. Pack trails fade behind. Ahead, untrodden earth pulses with the call of wild heartbeats. Prey thundering, rivers carving secrets. Hunger gnaws not just belly, but soul propelling paws through thorn and shadow toward feast unseen. This is purpose rediscovered, not a map drawn, but instinct excavated, raw and ravenous. You've harvested failure's gold, now unearth your wolf. Drift devours drive, force the dig, claws to soil, the scent strengthens, hunt begins. Purpose isn't a polite poster or vague should, it's blood-singing hunger, the gravitational core pulling chaos into orbit. Corporate burnout, relational ruts, endless scrolls numb it, burying your wild essence under responsible rubble. Rediscovery demands force. Isolation chamber, questions hurled like spears. What ignites my veins to fever? What labor dissolves hours into vapor? Where does my spirit howl free? No external metrics, pure visceral truth. Merge it with service. Heal your fractures by mending others. This alchemy births unbreakable hunger, devouring complacency, fueling empires from embers. Walk with Sophia, corporate climber shattered on success's peak. 36, corner office queen, bonuses stacking like hollow trophies, yet evenings echoed void, wine glasses clinking solitude, mirror reflecting strangers' eyes, panic crested during boardroom blackout, projector died mid-pitch, silence screaming irrelevance. She fled to family cabin, locked doors, 3 days fasting questions. Dawn 2, childhood sketchbooks unearthed, hands trembling on charcoal strokes forgotten. Alive. Blood sang, pattern emerged, mentoring youth artists, wounds from her abandoned passion. Experiment launched, free workshops for at-risk kids, paints mingling tears and laughter. Hunger exploded, mornings craved canvas, nights planned sessions. Year later, non-profit soared, Sophia radiant suits traded for smock-stained purpose. Drift died, wolf awakened. Claim the excavation right, lock the chamber weekly. Phone silenced, world barred, 90 minutes sacred. Journal probes deep, moments alive today. Hands what craft loses time. Others' pains echo mine. Patterns crystallize like frost on glass. Prototype ruthlessly. Volunteer shadows, soup kitchens, if feeding souls calls, trail guiding if wild whispers. Side quests dawn, teach skill, honed in youth, craft prototypes weekly. Sophia's log brimmed, painting kids' eyes lit mirror mine. Nightly harvest, alive when pigments danced, stories spilled. Action forces clarity, contemplation clouds. Physiologically, this reactivates reward circuits, dormant in drudgery, serotonin surging from alignment. Spiritually, purpose is soul's native tongue, rediscovered through silence's echo. Amplify the hunt. Fuse personal blaze with communal forge. Your healed fracture, weapon for warriors wounded same. Burnout survivor, coach ladders from pits. Artist, stifled, ignite collectives. Sophia's classes birth prodigies, her hunger fed exponentially. Escalate, sabbatical quests, month abroad chasing hunches, apprenticeships under masters sensed kin. Track hunger meter, daily pulse 1 to 10. Prototypes logged, service impacts charted, truth named, disgust fueled, pain gated, habits hacked, voice commanded, eyes bound, sacrifices pruned, micro wins avalanched, failures mined, now purpose hungers. Your predator, not prey. Contemplate the universal pulse. Shaman's quest, visions in wilds. Heroes sail unknown seas, chasing sirens within. Sophia's academy thrives, ripples mentoring multitudes. Your hunger reshapes worlds waiting, but eternal flames demand tending. What if nightly forges reflections ritualized, cemented sparks to infernos, undying? Chapter 11 kindles that hearth. The hunt yields, wisdom distills, forge eternal. Chapter 11 sustaining force through ritualized reflection. Candle flame dances in a stone-hewn chamber, shadows leaping across walls etched with ancient runes of conquest and collapse. A warrior kneels before glowing embers, armor shed, hands tracing scars earned in forgotten battles. Smoke curls like memories rising, each breath pulling lessons from the pyre. Victories savored, wounds probed, paths sharpened for dawn's war. This isn't defeat's dirge, it's the eternal forge where fire endures beyond flesh. You've unearthed purpose's hunger. Now ritualize the hearth that keeps it roaring. Kneel with me. Embers glow. Reflection begin. Reflection isn't idle musing. It's the alchemist's crucible, distilling raw experience into imperishable wisdom. Daily force flickers without this rite. Gains evaporate, slips repeat in vicious cycles. Evening ritual cements them. Review triumphs with gratitude's fire. Dissect stumbles with surgeon's blade. Blueprint tomorrow's gauntlet under starlight. This nightly vigil transforms chaos into compass, momentum into monument. Your mind, wired for recency bias, replays failures as finales, unless you author the narrative, force the rewrite. Every sunset, reclaim sovereignty over your saga. Enter Arya's sanctum, a single mother rebuilding from divorce's rubble. 33, nurse by day, dreamer by fractured night, weight creeping, certification stalled, spirit fraying under fluorescent lights. Chaos reigned until hearth ignited. Post-bedtime vigil candle lit, ledger unfurled, wins first. Held patient's hand through fear, steady voice mine, slips autopsied, skipped stairs for elevator. Fatigues lie. Tomorrow etched. Dawn walk flashcards during commute, water before snacks. Spoken aloud to empty room, words sealing oaths. Weeks wove patterns, pounds shed. Exams aced, confidence cresting. Arya's chamber, birthed, coaching side empire. Rituals her crown, reflection hadn't paused life. It propelled dynasty. Sees the vigil's architecture. Dusk summons, sanctuary carved, corner dimmed, candle or screen glow, if modern calls, ledger sacred, sequence sacred, gratitude triad. 3 wins voiced with sensory recall, push-ups burned sweet, client smile warmed chest, slip dissection, procrastinated emails, fear masked as busyness, counter timer tomorrow. Gauntlet dawn, 3 non-negotiables, scripted, vivid, cold shower grinning, pitch scripted aloud, bed by 10. Aloud invocation amplifies voice commands, neural etch. Weekly audit revisits chapter 1's rot list, progress scorched, adjustments ruthless. Aria photographed ledger spreads weekly, evolution's tapestry. Physiologically, this consolidates long-term potentiation, memories migrating from fragile to fortress. Spiritually, reflection mirrors ancestral firesides, elders distilling survival into song. Infused depth, sensory anchors, bind, candles vanilla for calm, stone clutched for grounding, tea steaming resolve. Escalate audits, monthly bonfires burning obsolete pages, rebirth symbolized. Tie to forces prior, review streaks against habit hacks, voice recordings replayed for tone tweaks. Aria, integrated purpose, nursed with healed hands, echoed my fractures, track reflection returns, insights logged, life quadrants quantified, health, wealth, bonds, legacy surging, truth excavated, disgust transmuted, pain structured, habits armored, voice sovereign, eyes leveraged, sacrifices pruned, micro-wins avalanched, failures mined, purpose hunted, now reflection eternalizes. You're the chronicler of conquests unending. Ponder the timeless vigil, pharaohs inscribed tombs with lessons, sages meditated caves, etching enlightenment, arias nurses now ritualize, ripples healing wards. Your hearth illuminates legacies unborn. You've forged the full arsenal, now wield it as one unbreakable storm. The finale awaits, weaving threads to immortality. Embers beckon. Rise, complete. Chapter 12, The Eternal Flame of Unstoppable Legacy. A solitary eagle crests the storm-torn summit, wings slicing thunderheads, eyes piercing veils of lightning, to horizons infinite. Below, valleys scarred by tempests past yield to rivers reborn, carving empires from erosion's patient fury. This bird doesn't perch in triumph. It soars eternal, every feather forged in gales survived, every beat a testament to skies reclaimed. You've journeyed the forge, truth's blade, disgust's fire, pain's anvil, habit's chains, voices thunder, eyes gaze, sacrifices cut, winds cascade, failures gold, purpose's hunt, reflection's hearth. Now, chapter 12 ignites the legacy flame, sustaining force into immortality, your life a beacon devouring darkness forever. Spread wings, eternity call. Legacy isn't gravestones or gold hoards, it's the perpetual engine you build, where today's force cascades into generations' fuel. You've assembled the machine, now scale it to echo beyond breath. This demands the infinite cascade. Weave every tool into systems, self-perpetuating journals, digitized for heirs, communities birthed from your blueprint, impacts quantified to compound eternally. Force isn't fleeting grit, it's architectural immortality, turning personal pyre into world's lighthouse. Feel the shift from survivor to sovereign, seeding dynasties in every soul touched. Your flame doesn't flicker, it franchises. Witness Kale's ascension, a welder, rusted in factory chains. 51, back bent under sparks eternal, dreams of invention smothered in overtime ash. Arsenal awakened him, stagnation listed, disgust mirroring grime-caked hands. thresholds gating beer till blueprints sketched, habits rigged, shop cleared for prototypes, voice commanding forge now, arena pledged online, $1 million patent or public folly, sacrifices scorched, weekends sold for courses, bar bonds, 7 micro wins stacked, weld one joint, dawn perfect, failure autopsied mid-melt, purpose unearthed in mentoring apprentices, lost like youth self, reflections nightly etched evolutions, Kale's widget revolutionized assembly lines, royalties funded academies teaching his cascade. At 65, factories bear his name, thousands wielding his force. Legacy? Not plaque, living legion. Architect your cascade, dawn decree, ledger eternal, integrate arsenal holistically. Truth audits, quarterly against rot origins, disgust summoned for plateaus, pain thresholds, escalated, global challenges like marathons across continents, habits evolve to empires, apps built logging streaks, shared communally, voice recordings podcasted for masses, public levers scale keynotes, delivering blueprints, masterminds convening warriors, sacrifices deepen wealth, tithe to force foundations, time legacy blocked, untouchable, micro wins fractalize, one apprentice coached births, 10 failures, codified curricula, purpose academies, healing world's fractures, reflections, annual summits, bonfires burning prior selves, Kale's digital vault videos, formulas, letters dispensed wisdom post-mortem. Physiologically, this hacks mirror neurons, your triumphs firing collectives' brains. Spiritually, legacy is soul's diaspora, essence multiplying through vessels infinite. Amplify eternally. Craft succession scrolls, detailed maps of your machine, assigned guardians, enforcing purity. Metrics immortalize, lives transformed, tracked via CRMs, ripples rippling, escalate visions, books crystallizing journey, courses commoditizing cascade, non-profits perpetuating purpose, Kale's welders unionized under his ethos, innovations iterating autonomously. Personalize, parents imprint children dawn rituals, entrepreneurs franchise forces, track legacy ledger, souls sparked, systems spawned, eternities echoed, arsenal complete. Truth to reflection fused, now legacy launches. You're not mortal, your momentum manifest. Contemplate the cosmic inheritance. Suns seed galaxies dying, DNA spirals through eons unbroken, prophets birthed religions from lived fire, you birth movements from forged self. Kale fades, but eagles soar his skies. Your flame franchises universes waiting, the journey crescendos here. But your storm eternalizes, carry every chapter as living code. Rise, unbreakable, the world yield.